I have been diving into this book, and it's interesting that we're talking, of course, this week in Baltimore, we talk so much about Brooks Robinson, and when I think about people that are entirely and always kind, I think about the author of this book, Sideline CEO. He is ESPN's Marty Smith, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Marty, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's so great to catch up. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us.
Oh, pleasure's mine, brother. I appreciate you having me this morning. I hope you guys are good up there.
Everything is good here, Marty. It's funny because when I found out the concept for the book, I thought, man, that's fascinating, right? And I can only imagine what these conversations were like for you. And I want to bring a couple of things that I've read already, but in general, what's amazing to me about you is what I would worry if I was approaching this project is that I would ask questions and the answers I would get back would be platitudes, right? How are you able to present these concepts and avoid from just getting coach speak or platitudes in terms of concepts like leadership when you were talking to so many legendary coaches?
I guess I would say a couple things. First, it is the long-standing relationships that I've built with many of the individuals in the book based on my ESPN career. Folks like Nick Saban, Dabo Sweeney, Mac Brown, Roy Williams, Kirby Smart, those folks. And then I think from there, the ones that I had not engaged with previously, like Kim Mulkey, the great LSU women's basketball coach. I'd never met her prior to this project. Patty Gasso, the great Oklahoma softball coach, also never met. I'd never met Doc Rivers prior to the project. So I think where I got a little fortunate was I had already built great relationships with a lot of them, and then because those with whom I build great relationships gave me great stuff, I was able to go to the ones I had not met and said, well, these other people are in the book, and I'm certain that gave me a lot of leverage with them saying yes. And then being vulnerable, I'm not sure why they were vulnerable, but you're so right. In so many cases with these people, we see them on the sidelines doing their thing or in a press conference being clinical or vanilla. But in this book, man, they really are vulnerable.
Some of the interesting things. So I have great respect for Tom Izzo, right? And what he said about not believing in being a leader by example, like really blew me away, right? Like that's not a leader. And I'm like, whoa, because we say that. Yeah, Marty, in our business, this is just one of some of the nonsense things that we say, not even thinking about it. But the thought process there and being willing to sort of call that out was the first thing as I was diving into the book that really jumped out at me, like, whoa, that's somebody saying something here.
It was really fascinating to me, too. And Coach Izzo has been wonderful to me throughout my journey. And when he said that, it's funny, the process of writing this book was different than my first book, which was more memoir-ish. And so the edit process was really grammatical, making sure that I told the stories in as succinct a way as I could and that kind of thing. This one was people are entrusting you with the spirit and the context of their words, and so I wanted to be a tremendous steward of that spirit and that context. So the edit process, I wore these poor folks out, brother. I mean, I went back to them time and again. Is this what you meant to say? Is this how you meant to say it? Is this what you meant? And with Coach Izzo, I went back to him several times, and that was one of them. He goes, hell yeah, I believe that. I meant every word of it, because if you're not bringing people with you, I think the ultimate through line of this book is through trust of your words and follow through with your actions. It is bringing people with you, because leadership is not power. Leadership is influence. So can you bring people with you to achieve a task, especially if they don't believe they're capable themselves? And that's really the through line with all of the pillars that are in the book. But, yeah, man, Izzo's a stud. I love that dude.
He is Marty Smith, and again, the book is Sideline CEO. It is available right now, and we will link it up on our Twitter account, @Glenn Clark Radio. Sideline CEO, Leadership Principles from Championship Coaches. Let me go back because you said, not everyone was someone that was there anyone that you wanted to have involved that wasn't really as interested in being vulnerable and opening up to you? Was there someone to you that was maybe the biggest surprise? Like, I can't believe I got so many good things out of this person during the course of doing this book.
Honestly, I felt that way about all of them. I wish I got more time with Coach Gibbs. It was funny. I've known Joe Gibbs for 25 years through my NASCAR life, and he's a wonderful man, and I've always loved his spirit. And it was funny. We were in the middle. I mean, he gave me plenty of time, and we were probably 30 minutes in. I don't know. And he was like, "Oh, my gosh, Marty, I got to go. I have a competition meeting." And so he had to bail out of the interview a little earlier than I wanted to get a few more things from Coach. But nonetheless, he was so brilliant and kind to give me the time he did. There were two people that I wanted in the pages that I did not get in the pages specifically, one of whom told me no. The other one was scheduled to do the book and then got very busy. The one that told me no is someone I've gotten to know generally well through my show on SEC Network, Marty and McGee. That's Dawn Staley, the amazing women's basketball coach of South Carolina. I think Coach Staley politely declined because she's going to write her own leadership monster someday. Doesn't want to give away all her secrets. I get it. And the other one is Deion Sanders. Coach Prime told me yes, he was going to do the book. And then he got the Colorado job, and we just couldn't make our schedules mesh. I was on a super tight deadline. I had less than 5 months to write this thing. So I was on a super tight deadline, and Prime and I just couldn't make it work, but I admire him so much. And now, he's the biggest story in sports again with what he's doing out west of Colorado.
No question. Marty, I wonder if I could for you, because this is fascinating. You and I have talked about how what resonates with me and your unbelievable kindness, and that you are someone who is the exact same in every circumstance. And I wonder for you, you talk about your show, Marty and McGee, as the face of it, you've got to be some amount of a leader in those moments. Is it ever difficult for you to constantly be Marty Smith, like a burden of I'm known for my kindness, and yet you need to deliver results at the same time? Like, you need to make sure that everybody's doing their job and presenting the best thing you can do to have a successful show, to do successful broadcasts.
I think that you can be a servant leader and make your point very directly while not making it personal about someone if they didn't do the job that you expect, or if they need to maybe alter their approach or evolve in certain ways. That's part of leadership. That's one of the pillars in the book, is evolution. And I've certainly evolved because my natural personality is I'm an impulsive person. I have been my whole life. My father was a very impulsive person. My son is a very impulsive person, but I've realized with time and enough failures that I need to go inward when I fail. I need to process what I've done wrong, and then I need to take the steps to make sure that I'm doing everything I have to do to find my best self all the time. And that is a challenge a lot. But I know that that's the best me, and that's what I'm trying to be every day. And so I think it might be easier in life to be just flippant in certain contexts, but I don't want to be that guy, man. I'm not always great at it. There's a lot of things I want back, but I do try my best to constantly be that kind of person. So I don't know. That's a great question, and I'm trying every single day to do that. But we got something special with Marty. It's funny you say that, because one of the very important conversations that Ryan and I have had recently, and I'm not speaking out of school because we've actually mentioned it on Marty and McGee. I don't want to be the show and the friendship and the relationship that is beautiful and people welcome us into their living room, but then over time it becomes fractured by ego. And like, I think about, Brooks and Dunn, one of my favorite country groups of all time. I love Kix and Ronnie. I'm not speaking out. I've interviewed both of them about this. They broke up for a time because they started to compare. And comparison's the thief of joy. I know you know that adage, but
Yep.
it's so true. And I've called McGee on the phone and said, look, dude, if there's something I'm doing that is annoying you, you got to tell me. And it's got to be vice versa. We have to be transparent that way because we have something special here. And I don't want it to suffer based on some stupid thing that festers. And we have been very honest with one another, and it's so beneficial.
That's really cool, Marty. That's really cool to hear you acknowledge that, and it's powerful stuff. I know I need to let you go. Can I? Maryland football is 4-0, right? So they're definitely going to be. They're going to beat Ohio State.
Hey.
They're going to be 8-0. Game day's finally coming to College Park in a few weeks, right? Like that's definitely happening this season, correct?
This is the year, and it's funny. My brother-in-law also is a Terp, and we've had the same conversation.
Man, it would be cool. I'm not sure I'm ready to go there yet, but it's just nice to not be miserable and to not be a doormat anymore and to
They're doing a
actually
great
enjoy
job.
football.
I mean, it's just unfortunate for them that they play in what I believe
it's
is the most difficult division
insanity.
in sports. I've long said the SEC West is the most difficult division in sports, but this year it's a Big Ten East, man.
That's
That thing
crazy.
is a monster.
It is crazy, man. It is crazy. We'll be looking forward to there being no divisions here in a few years. At Marty Smith,
Right.
ESPN, Sideline CEO, Leadership Principles from Championship Coaches. Really wonderful read for anybody, honestly. This is a great book, not just for people that are in leadership positions. Marty Smith, truly always a pleasure. Thank you for spending a couple minutes with us.
Appreciate the platform, brother, and love your spirit. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.